When we think of fruit picking season, we imagine fruit pickers working hard trying to pick as many fruits as possible because they know that the season will soon be over. And one of the first things that come to mind when we think of the Apostle Paul is perhaps the zeal he had for his ministry. Like a fruit picker, Paul recognized the importance of the time in which he lived. He referred to the prophecy at Isaiah 49 verse 8 when he spoke about the urgency of his time. Notice what he had to say. Please turn with me to 2 Corinthians 6 verse 2. For he says, in an acceptable time I heard you, and in a day of salvation I helped you. Look, now is the especially acceptable time. Look, now is the day of salvation. This evening, we'll first look at what is the acceptable time that Paul spoke about, and then we'll see why we should use the opportune season for God's favor. What is the acceptable time? The acceptable time in the prophecy at Isaiah 49 verse 8 was a time in which Israel received salvation. They were freed from Babylon and allowed to restore true worship in their homeland. Today, just as in Paul's day, the acceptable time could prove to be a day of salvation for us if we are prepared to exercise faith in Jesus. One way we can do this is by fulfilling our responsibility or commission to preach. Notice what Romans 13, 11, and 12 says about the urgency of the time in which we live and the actions we should take. Please read with me Romans 13, 11, and 12. And do this because you know the season, that it is already the hour for you to awake from sleep. For now our salvation is nearer than at the day when we became believers. The night is well along, the day has drawn near. Let us therefore throw off the works belonging to darkness, and let us put on the weapons of the light. This scripture helps us to see that because God's promised new world is near, we must resist falling asleep spiritually. Let's also take a look at Ephesians 5, 15 to 17. So keep strict watch that how you walk is not as unwise, but as wise persons, making the best use of your time, because the days are wicked. On this account, stop being unreasonable, but keep perceiving what the will of Jehovah is. Here, Paul encourages us to use our time wisely by focusing on spiritual things. Brothers, we must then use wisely the opportune time or season, for this season in which we live is temporary and therefore urgent.